Coming up on today's show, ESPN just named the Browns' next move. They're saying Cleveland has to do this now. Then, the latest on these Shedeur trade rumors that have continued to circulate. Let's see what people are saying now. Welcome into the Brown Support, everybody, presented by Prize Picks. Remember to use code HMA. You'll get $50 on lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and can we hit 78,000 subscribers today on today's show, guys? We are so close to that next milestone. Only 379 people away from getting there. Look at that, over 77,600 subs already on the channel. What you get if you do daily, free Cleveland Browns shows, content, news, and rumors, all that coming your way for free, no charge. Tap that sub button, guys. Join this family if you're a Browns fan. Appreciate you all very much. And what I said we're going to do first on today's show is look at what ESPN did. They named the next move, final offseason moves for all 32 teams in the National Football League. And what they have the Cleveland Browns doing is relatively interesting. They say the Browns need to extend Grant Delpit right here, right now. That needs to be their next move, okay? So let's look at what ESPN had to say about this being their prediction for the Browns specifically, extending Grant Delpit. They say Delpit is still playing at a high level. It can be hard to judge safety play, whether you use statistics or scouting, but Sports Info Solutions ranked him 7th among all safeties in its total points saved metric last season. However, his contract is set to void after the 2026 season. He'll be 29 years old for the 2027 season and could still play an important role on the defense if the Browns are actually more successful at rebuilding this time. He would be a good veteran to keep around for the next couple of seasons. Well, it's definitely a good point being made there. And interestingly enough, Browns defensive pass game coordinator Ephraim Banda, who was our safeties coach as well last year, said he doesn't want to comment on the nature of injuries, okay, when asked about Grant Delpit not practicing in OTAs in minicamp, but added that his communication this offseason has been phenomenal, all right? And so basically Delpit had not been in attendance during OTAs, and it ultimately appears like he's holding out, right? He wants the new deal. He wants that extension. There's not many other excuse for why he wouldn't be participating, why he would show up and not participate still. Kind of felt like a hold-in situation, actually, to get technical here. And they asked Todd Monken about that, and a reporter had said, listen, Denzel Ward was in on 7-on-7, but Delpit didn't do anything. Is that an injury or a hold-in situation? And Monken was like, again, I'm not going to comment on injuries. The reporter's like, okay, so it's an injury. Monken's like, no, I'm just saying I'm not going to comment on injuries. So no reason was given to us for Grant Delpit holding in, out, just not participating. We don't know if it's injury-related or not. And I actually think a good point is made by ESPN that Delpit could still be an absolute contributing factor for the Browns. Played great last year, okay? And he could somewhat fit our timeline, given that he's turning 28 this season, coming off a great year. You know, there were some trade rumors that maybe he's not there because he wants to leave after Myles Garrett got traded, right? Browns just traded Myles. Maybe Delpit's like, get me out of here too. All right, but what's really going on is he's entering the final year of his 3-year, $36 million deal. So I get it why the trade rumors would come up because he's got a year left on his contract. But for me, what this comes down to is I think ultimately Delpit just wants the financial security of, you know, being in this league and knowing you're getting a contract over the next couple of years. Who knows if he gets injured or anything next year and all of a sudden can't get that big deal in free agency. You know, given his level of play last year, he's like, pay me right now for the next couple of years. And I think he just wants a similar deal for the next few years here in Cleveland. And I'll say this about Grant Delpit. He's important to what the Browns are doing, important to what the Browns are trying to do as well. Like the way that the Browns are going to approach this system is they're going to play a lot of big nickel with 3 safeties out there. Drafting Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, using the tender on Ronnie Hickman to give him a raise and get him back in Cleveland, and keeping Grant Delpit. Those 3 are going to see the field at the same time a lot this year. It's going to be an interesting defense and hard to score on, especially when you looked at that metric from ESPN earlier that Delpit was ranked pretty high in terms of not giving up points, okay, in the NFL. So New system's going to be pretty cool. Andrew Berry talked about it as well, saying that positionless safeties are kind of the thing in the NFL these days, mentioning Kyle Hamilton, Nicky Manwari, right? These guys that are physical, talented football players can be roaming anywhere back there in the secondary. So, what we're going to talk about next is what is Delpit's value in this extension. And like I said, some more on Shedeur, but Delpit talk coming up first. And I want to let you guys know today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options right now than a sporting event. If you use code CHAT10, you get 10% off your next set of tickets. MLB's in full swing. NFL schedule is out today, and you can now get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek. This could be a once-in-a-lifetime experience to go to a World Cup game while it is in America. Atmosphere is incredible. Also, I'm looking at those Browns 8 home games this season. I want to watch the new offense take the field, hopefully celebrating Todd Monk and what he's cooking up for Judkins, Shedeur, the rookie wide receivers, Boston and Concepcion. I want to see them in person. And if you do too, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. So you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good. Red means bad. And, of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. It's 10% off any tickets with promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. According to Spotrac, Delpit would warrant an $8.8 million a year deal with a projected 4-year, $35 million contract. Now, he might want closer to $10 million, something of that nature, but this is what Spotrac is saying his value would actually be. The Browns are known to overpay a little bit to get the guys that they like, and Haslam's just got the money to dish out as he pleases. Funny enough, Jimmy Haslam also involved in trading Giannis last night and traded Myles Garrett in one sport and Giannis in another. He's doing fantastic. My take, though, on Grant Delpit, I'd like to keep our defense intact for the most part. After trading Myles, I'd like the other guys to stay. I think the Browns are trying to keep Jim Schwartz's system, and they've been pretty vocal about that. Todd Monken has said that, too. And so Delpit is young enough to be here for a few more years, okay? We could sign him for a 3-year deal again. You know, he'll just barely be 30. Like, for a guy that just played as well as he did last year, we need him in that secondary. We need him in the safety room, and I'm down to keep him. I don't think you're going to get enough value in a trade for him where you need to make that happen. I'd just pay Delpit. What do you guys think? How would you handle this Grant Delpit situation? Would you extend him, type E for extend, or would you trade them, type T for trade? Let me know what you would do. Play GM in the comments section. How would you handle Grant Delpit entering the last year of his contract? Now, it's time for the Shedeur talk, okay? How could I do a show without talking about Shedeur Sanders, all right? No, but more importantly, these rumors keep coming up. We've already looked at a few, but now it's Daryl Reuter, who also covers the Browns, saying, here's the part of the theory that kicks in. I think the Browns will trade Shedeur Sanders before the start of the season. That is my theory. Shocking thing to put out there, but when you pair together the fact that this is being floated multiple times now, it's getting scary. Okay, ESPN's Cleveland's Tony Rizzo said, quote, there are talks and ongoing calls about the availability of Shedeur Sanders. People are calling saying, hey, is he available? And I get it. Rizzo's not a source, but he's got like one source or two sources, and he's got quarterback stuff before, right? They told him that Gabriel was going to start, and then it was announced a couple hours later Gabriel was going to start, and someone told him that Myles Garrett trade was done, and it happened, right? Like, it could be true that the calls are happening. Not that a trade's going down, but calls are happening at the very least, okay? And now you've got this new wrinkle in teams that need a quarterback. Adam Schefter with the breaking news the other day that the NFL will not hold a supplemental draft this summer, okay? So Brendan Sorsby can't enter the NFL this season. It has to be the 2027 draft. They sent a letter to Sorsby and all 32 teams to inform them of the league's decision. Okay, everybody's aware. You're not getting Sorsby. Their main point there was that the league continues to show that it has little tolerance for gambling issues. But so now you think about teams like the Jets, the Cardinals, who maybe needed a quarterback right away and was like, oh, we can put a bid in on Sorsby. They might need to call around for other teams for quarterback help. And the Jets specifically, as they are always in a dumpster fire with drama going on. I mean, check this out now. Geno Smith is being investigated for an incident in which a woman accused him of battery, police in Florida said Tuesday morning officers were summoned to Gino's home Sunday after a woman claiming to be his ex-girlfriend called 911 and said he assaulted her. So Geno Smith is the guy that the Jets traded for to be their starter, to be their veteran starter. And then you've got the Cardinals, who have Jacoby Brissett, who they want to be their Week 1 starter, and he is holding out into Big 2026. Like, without this Sorsby angle, more teams are going to be calling because Shedeur, he is a starting level quarterback. We saw that last year in a terrible system. I think in a better system, he could really prove to everybody he's a starting level quarterback in this league, okay, at minimum. And then Cameron Wolfe on NFL Network says, quote, if Watson does win the quarterback competition, do the Browns consider trading Shedeur Sanders? Why are so many people talking about this right now? Is this really happening? I just think that where there's smoke, there's fire. So for everybody, ESPN guys, NFL Network guys, to be bringing this up, it's at least a conversation worth having. You have to read between the lines in the NFL. Teams don't publicly say, hey, we're trading our guys until the trade is done. Okay? It's a little bit of rumors, a little bit of reports, and logical thinking. The Browns have 4 quarterbacks on the roster right now. They can't go into the season with all 4, can they? I mean, my solution would be moving Green to the practice squad, but I also want to see Green a little bit this season. So call him up. There's ways around it, but they did not want to repeat last year, which was 4 QBs heading into Week 1, and then they trade Pickett. And then they trade Flacco. You know what I'm saying? It slowed them down. It didn't give out reps for people that needed reps. So sometimes you have to make educated guesses on what's going to happen in the league, and a lot of people are starting to make that guess right now. My take remains, though. I think it's dumb. We shouldn't do this. You're not going to get much value. This is a guy, Shedeur Sanders, you drafted, who is in your quarterback 1 competition, okay? At worst, he's your backup quarterback. Like, what are you going to trade him for? A late draft pick? How does that help you? Who are you going to draft in next year's 5th round that makes that worth it if Shedeur goes on to be a great quarterback? I think it's dumb to entertain this if you're Cleveland. Let him be on the roster. Let him play some games this year. See what he could do. All right, which brings us to today's Prize Picks question of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to know your opinion. Should the Browns trade Shedeur Sanders? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Make your pick in the comments section down below. And while you're answering the Prize Picks question of the day, I'll show you guys a lineup that I've got for the season, okay, because I'm in on Shedeur. I'm picking the more on Shedeur Sanders game started. That's right, more than 6.5. I think that Sanders will get at least half of the season. And like I said, he could straight up start in Week 1 or just be the backup. And Watson's never been healthy for a full year in Cleveland. So I feel good about him playing this season. I also feel good about Kyler Murray, the more on his game started. I think he definitely is their QB1 over there in Minnesota. So that's a $5 lineup to pay out $15 for the upcoming season. And if you guys are new users, download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. The link is in the comment section and description of today's video, and that is code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Furthering my take on why I don't think we should trade Shedeur, unless he asks out, unless Sanders says, I don't want to be here, trade me, request a trade, there's no reason to move him. Doesn't benefit you at all. If he's willing to be in this QB competition and battle and play for the Browns, great. He's our guy. All right, there's no reason to give him up for literally nothing. I mean, you're not going to get much value for him right now, given that all these teams passed on him through 5 rounds. So keep Shedeur, see if he can be special. He's young, he's developing, and Monken sees something in him. Okay, Todd Monken has said he believes there is something there in Shedeur Sanders, and there's playmaking ability, and he could draw it out of him. All right, he says that about Watson too. So Monken likes the 2 guys. Let's stop flirting with this idea, okay? And there were reports about Shedeur from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler actually saying that his decision making has improved, and he has a presence about him. Okay, his leadership's there, his confidence there, and Jeremy Fowler said multiple people have told me there is something there. They got to figure out what it is, okay? Let us be the ones to figure it out, not give him up for nothing, and then he becomes super successful, and then it's the Baker Mayfield thing all over again, okay? And I'm not saying it's that. He wasn't the first overall pick, although he was projected to be in some mock drafts. I just think it makes no sense to entertain this. Like, it's not a bad thing for your team to have Shedeur right now, especially for the Browns' perspective. They actually think he could be QB1. So that's my take, though. Let me know your confidence level in Shedeur Sanders in the comment section. On a scale of 1 to 100, how you feeling about his ability to play quarterback for the Browns in this league? Let me know on a scale of 1 to 100 your confidence level in Shedeur Sanders. And that'll do it for today's show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been your host, Joey O'Donohue. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and I'll see you next time.